Hi, this is Niana. She'll be receiving the shorter haircut from our spring collection. And what this cut involves is a shorter nape area that's graduated, moving into rounded layers, roundness in through the sides with a disconnected crown as well as a longer disconnected fringe. Let's show you how we do it. As always, pre-section the head shape to know exactly where you're going. We've separated the top profile from the crown area to the corner on each side, making sure that we have a pretty thick top profile because we're going to have a disconnected fringe. Separate front from back from the crown to the top of the ear, and separate the back profile left from right as well as top from bottom. 3 vertical subsections right in the nape area. And now we're going to be combing that hair straight back from the head shape with an elevation of 45 degrees and a finger angle of 45 degrees, making sure that you're combing the hair properly and looking at the big picture. Once you reach your in and out movement determining her new length, cut right into that hairline. Each section on the outside is laterally directed straight back off the head shape, again with an elevation of 45 degrees and a finger angle of 45 degrees. Take the top of the previous cut section in your fingers, use that as a guide. Once that clears, cut straight into the head shape. When you know that top of that previous section is about to clear your fingers, move outward very slowly. As soon as it drops, connect. That'll ensure connection in your layering. There it is. It clears, cutting straight into the hairline. Now we know that all hairlines are different, so make sure that you go in and clean it up as desired. For this haircut, I'm choosing to point cut to keep that perimeter very, very soft, but yet keeping that shorter to the inside, longer to the outside feel. Make sure you clean up the entire hairline, and then we can move on to the next section. So now we're moving to about the top of the ear across the top of the occipital bone. On both sides, comb it down, and again we're going to be taking vertical subsections. Now that we're moving up the head shape, it's going to be 5 instead of 3. 1 in the middle, 1 on each side, and 1 towards the outside. Combing that hair very cleanly. Again, our elevation is 45, finger angle 45, looking for that underneath to fall out as it just did, and connect. We're taking 2 horizontal subsections because I want that graduation in the back to be very visual. Laterally directing it straight back, repeat the exact same movements. We're only grabbing this one vertical section and the previous section underneath to use that as a guide. See it fall out, stop with your in and out movement with your fingers, and cut. It's providing just a really nice, shorter in the middle to longer feel with nice graduation because of elevation and finger angle. There's my guide, wait for it, there it is, and connect. That outside piece, look how nicely it's combed. I'm bringing it straight back, and if anything, slightly towards the center, and cutting straight into it again. This connection is very important, so once that bottom guide falls out, stop moving out and connect. Look at the beautiful graduation we're getting in through this bottom part of the perimeter. So now, again, let's move up the head shape. Take another horizontal parting, about half of what is left. Comb it up and out of your way. And we'll be doing a little bit of a different movement on this section because I want to create nice head-shaped layers, I'm going to be cutting up and over the head shape. But first we're going to make sure that we have equal sectioning on both sides. This moves to 7 because it's the widest part of our head shape. As you can see how I've done it here. Making sure that you visually see each section and keep each section separate. So now our elevation is going to be 45. Notice my fingers are down now because I'm going to be cutting up and over the head shape. Fingers down, shears up, connect from the underneath, work all the way up and over the head shape. When the hair buckles, make sure we recomb and continue that up and over movement until we're finishing with each section, the top part of each section coming straight out from its root level. Now these sections are laterally directed straight out from the head shape with the same exact up and over movement, incising, elevating, and turning slightly to follow the head shape. See how this section is coming straight out from the head shape? Each one is done the exact same way. Elevation 45, finishing each section at an elevation to where the hair is coming straight out from its root level. This outside section, you're still using that underneath as your guide, working up and over the head shape. Notice I take the time to recomb it. My guide falls out and I finish the movement. Notice I'm combing the hair very cleanly so it's all combed to a certain point, and again, up and over, incising. The incising is your choice. I can take the shears and open and close them very quickly for a little texture, or I can be very aggressive in my opening and closing and create very deep, disconnected texture. This is your choice, and that's the great thing about structure in motion. Recomb it to approximately the same elevation you stopped and finish with the hair coming out of the head shape. This beautiful back is created all by itself by having discipline in your movements and repeating the same movement so that you have symmetry, not only from top to bottom, but from left side and right side. We're finishing with our shears parallel to the head shape and the hair coming straight out. Look how beautiful that moves already. So now we're moving up the head shape again and taking that right at the parietal and separating just that little crown area. We're going to be carrying this sectioning into the front profile. As you can see, I've taken another horizontal straight across the top profile and separated the front from the back. The hair you see on top was our initial separation of the fringe. Repeat the same movement on the other side. Look how easily I'm sectioning this hair. Don't spend all day sectioning. Right across that parietal, up and out of the way, making sure your work area is very clean at all times. Again, front from back, just this little section between the parietal and the top. So now we're going to take vertical sections again, and because this is again a wide part of the back profile, I'm going to be taking 7 vertical subsections. Each section is going to be elevated to approximately the same exact elevation where I finished the previous section. Just comb that hair to an elevation where it's coming straight out from the head shape. Continue that up and over movement, turning my shears, incising, and following that head shape. Fingers down, shears up, moving very comfortably through the haircut. Remember, each of these sections are brought straight out from the head shape, very much like spikes on a ball. Notice I'm starting at an elevation that I left off and finishing with this section coming straight out from that parting. Guide falls out and connect. Notice how I'm taking the time and I have the preciseness to grab just that section of hair that I'm cutting. The previous hair's already been cut. It has texture and roundness. No sense in gathering it all up with each section and recutting each time you cut a new section. Look at the volume in there. Nice, beautiful, rounded layers. You can see that added texture we got from incising. So now we're moving into the front, left and right side. We're on her left side. I'm working from the top of the ear to the front. I've horizontally divided that into 2 equal horizontal subsections and now 2 equal vertical subsections. The movements that we did in through the back profile created a guide for us right here behind the ear. That's what I'm going to use to connect, to basically enter this section using that same guide. My elevation is approximately 45 degrees and we're using that guide as you see. Once it falls out, we're connecting up and over with the same thought process as the back. Up and over, following the head shape, creating nice rounded feel. Now this front section is laterally directed slightly towards the back. I have a guide from where I entered right there for my previous section and repeat the exact same movement. Elevation 45, looking for that guide. Make sure you see it. There it is. Once it drops out, stop your in and out movement and work up and over the head shape. Notice how my shears and my fingers are together at all times. That is for absolute control. Now that we move into this upper section, we're subdividing into 3 vertical subsections because I want to cut that hair exactly where it lives. I don't want a lot of lateral direction in between sections. Starting again straight out from the head shape and finishing straight out from the head shape. Remember, as you move up the head shape, it starts to round out a little bit, so you have to make sure you turn your shears to follow that head shape. We're always using that underneath section as our guide to enter, and we're finishing straight out at its root level. It's okay if you're moving a little loose within your incising, some big, some small, all the same. This is your choice as an artist. And look how beautiful that line falls. Now we're repeating the same exact thing on the other side, separating into 2 horizontal subsections, getting the top one up and out of your way, and then vertically subdividing into 2 equal sections. I'm again going to take that piece from right behind the ear to use that as my guide. There it is. So at any point in time of this haircut, you always have an entry and an exit reference. Elevation 45. We're going to take that piece, put it into our fingers. We can see it. It's about to clear our fingers. There it is. And cut up and over the head shape. Because we're cutting rounded in through this side profile, it's just going to give us a little bit more movement and a little bit more volume. I took that piece from underneath previously, the exact same movements, just finishing up and over. The ear is naturally going to cause separation in through that perimeter. That's okay. We want to see a little bit of texture in through that side perimeter. So now, again, 3 vertical subsections, grabbing that underneath into our fingers to use as our reference. Once it falls out, connect. Up and over, finishing straight out from the head shape. The concept behind this is that we're creating the shape, the texture, and the design all at the same time. We're moving through the head shape, following the head shape, creating a very unique feel versus flat layering, closing our shears, creating hard visual lines when I want a very soft textured design. So now we're going right in through the side profile, and we're going to connect, opening up that side profile and really opening up that cheek area, cutting to a really nice curved perimeter right around the face. Make sure it all connects just a little bit. There you go. We're going to do the exact same thing on the other side. This time we're going to backhand it. Make sure you move your body over so that you're cutting comfortably. And I'm starting from right about the corner of the eye and getting aggressive into that hairline, really opening it up and creating a nice textured perimeter coming to a really nice tapered point. That's for softness. Go in and point cut what doesn't fit in your fingers, and now we've completed the back and the side profiles. Check and see, make sure both sides are symmetrical, and now we're going to be dropping out the crown area as well as the top and left right. So all we're working with now was in that little crown area. Remember, the front section went all the way to the corners. And we're going to be taking radial sections right in through this back profile. So we've got one in the center and one on each side for 3. Now, again, using that underneath section as our guide, we're going to be cutting up and out, creating a really nice disconnected feel. This hair is designed to fall over the previous layering, but we're making sure that we're cutting it to a nice tapered point so it falls soft and you'll never see a hard visual line in that design. Bottom falls out, connect up and curve outward with your shears, coming to a nice point. Each of these sections are brought straight out from the head shape. There's my guide connecting up and out and being very consistent in your movement through these 3 sections. I want that layer to fall over the underneath haircut to create that disconnected, fuller crown. So now we have that section that is between the parietal and the top that we've previously sectioned out. We're going to subdivide that into 2 vertical sections. And we're going to laterally direct this slightly towards the back and continue that up and out disconnected feel. Now at this point you could leave it a little bit longer if you choose, or go in and leave it approximately the same length as you did the back. Through lateral direction, it's automatically going to leave it a little bit longer towards the face. So if you choose to come out very late with your shears, that's your choice. For more of a disconnected feel and softer, longer layers towards the face that move even a little bit more than if you would by cutting it shorter. So as you can see, it falls right over that underneath hair, but you never see that hard visual line of demarcation. Just slightly, ever so slightly, you're seeing a little bit of added weight and volume. By leaving that crown area a little bit longer and disconnected, you have multiple styling options to get the feel that you want from that crown. Repeating the same exact movements. Straight out from the head shape, slightly laterally towards the back, cutting up and out. Look how I'm turning my shears. You saw that nice point that was created? That's what you're looking to achieve. Combing the hair very nicely, straight out from that previous section, it falls out and connect. Again, it falls right into the existing haircut, never looking disconnected because of the movements of structure and motion, allowing soft, rounded texture whenever and wherever we need it. So now let's work in through this top. We're going to create a guide for the length, taking all the hair to the front, pinching it into our fingers, making it slightly laterally direct, and your in and out movement is at your length. Notice I'm elevating slightly so that I can create some softness through that perimeter, cutting it straight across at 90 degrees. We've cut this down below her chin. I really want to see an exaggerated, disconnected fringe as well as top and crown. So, you see my corner piece that we previously cut? What I'm going to do is connect that to create a perimeter for that fringe. So we're kind of creating a slightly shorter to longer fringe area that's going to connect all the way to the length of the front, but each side is going to be cut inward towards the center. There's my guide, and I'm going to connect all the way to her existing length. You can leave it a little square in the front if you want, or if you really want an exaggerated point, be aggressive and cut that angle like I'm going to do all the way to that front profile, slightly leaving just a little bit of a square perimeter there. This again is your choice. If you move aggressively, you're going to create a really nice V-shaped fringe. If you're not looking for that, just connect by slightly incising. I saw my guide where I connected. I'm moving down all the way to that existing length. Notice I'm opening and closing, creating very, very unique texture throughout that perimeter. Looking at it again, I like what's happening. Let's move on. So now we're going to be creating some interior texture in the design. So I'm going to separate this fringe horizontally across the head shape. We're going to be doing it into 3 individual horizontal subsections: front, middle, and crown area, making sure each section is up and out of the way. 1, 2, and 3. So we'll be starting with this very front part of the fringe. This is what's going to fall down right by her chin, and I really want to kind of break that up a little bit. So now I'm taking 4 vertical subsections right in through this front section, and we're going to be creating a little bit of added softness right through the perimeter. Each section is going to be combed by itself, making sure our fingers are vertical, straight forward, and cutting down and out to the existing length, just breaking up that corner and adding some texture. Open and close your shears very lightly. There's not a lot of hair here, so move, as we say, gingerly. Enter each section a little bit differently for added texture. Moving on to the second section, again, we're going to be taking vertical subsections. And on this second section, because it's a little narrower, we're only going to be taking 3. So now we're taking each vertical subsection, holding it straight out from the head shape, and repeating that movement, just taking that corner off. Be a little bit more aggressive if you want to, take out more density. This is your choice depending on the texture and density of her hair. Repeat those movements. Notice how easily we're cutting down and out. Using the first 1/3 of your shears, it's very sharp. and it doesn't take a lot of energy to open and close very lightly. So now we're into that third section. We've subsectioned that into 2 verticals. And now we're bringing that straight forward as well, and again decreasing some of that corner by cutting down and out. We're bringing it straight forward, entering where you desire. Make sure you're keeping that existing length. So you can see that beautifully disconnected fringe. It connects from the side all the way to that length right at the chin. It's got movement, it's got separation. This style has so many styling options. I think she's going to love it. Look at that movement. Wow, what a great look for her. To achieve this look, I used some of our Short Sexy What a Body Bodify and Blow Dry Gel, and I wanted to create a very unique texture, so I used one of my favorite texturizing products from our Short Sexy called Play Dirty. Applied a little bit, worked it through with my hands, achieved the texture I'm looking for. Now that I've got it ready for the final spray, I'm going to use one of my favorite Big Sexy hairsprays. It's the all-nighter hairspray called Spray and Stay. I think this is a great change for her. I hope you liked it.